everybody, this is Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make the Top This beach bag. It's a great size bag. It measures about 9 inches long and about 8 inches across. It's the perfect size for a child or for you to take just a few things along with you. Now, when I made the first bag, I made it out of 100% cotton that I had on hand to test out the pattern. And it's a great little bag. And it's easy to open and close because it's a drawstring. Now, you can find this crochet pattern on my blog, and I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make this little bag, you're going to need about 5 ounces of yarn of your choice. You can use worsted weight number 4, you can use cotton, or you can do like I did with this one. And I purchased one of these. It's called Top This. You can also use ones called Little Toppers if you want to add the topper to it. Now this one is the one I used for my granddaughter. They make several different kinds. Here's one with a dog on it. And the one we're going to use for our demonstration today is this little owl. But because you're going to need about 5 ounces, and this only has a little under 3 ounces, you're also going to need about 2 ounces of another kind of yarn. And if you're using the kit, you're going to need worsted weight number 4 yarn. And that's what we'll be using today. This is a Red Heart Super Saver that I have on hand that's going to match well with what I'm doing with the owl. So basically you're going to need approximately 5 ounces of your yarn of choice. And if you want to add the little topper, you'll need to purchase one of these. Top This, the other one is called Little Toppers, and there's a whole bunch out there. I purchased these at Hobby Lobby. You can also find them at Joann Fabrics and also Michael's. And I've seen them online all over the place, so you can order them online as well. For today's demonstration, I'm going to be using an H hook, which is a 5mm crochet hook. You're going to need a needle for weaving in your ends. I'm using this kit from Top This, and it has 2.8 ounces of yarn. And then I'm going to use an additional 2 ounces of yarn of Red Heart Super Saver in this teal color because it goes well with what I have going on here. And then you're also going to need your scissors. I've removed the wrapper and I untied the bow for the topper. I'm just going to slide that out and set that aside. And now I'm just going to begin working, and I'm just going to use from the outside of the ball. A lot of times we work from the inside, but I'm just working from the outside of the ball. And we are beginning with our little topper or Top This yarn. All right, so we're going to begin with a chain 5. And we're starting at the bottom of the bag, and then we'll work our way up. We're going to join that chain 5 into a circle by pulling it through that loop, and then we'll make that little stay knot. We're going to put our hook through, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. The entire bag is stitched in double crochet stitches. We're going to stitch 9 more double crochets in that 5 chain loop in order to give us a total of 10 double crochets. And if you can't remember how to do a double crochet, yarn over, go in your loop or stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and go through the second 2 loops. And that's our double crochet. All right, let's see how many stitches we have. Here's our chain 3 that counts as our first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need one more. Then we're going to join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. All right, let's do row 2. Now our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. So we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in that same stitch as our chain 3. And then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. So we'll go to the next double crochet and stitch 2 double crochets. And this will give us 20 double crochets because we started with 10 and we're stitching 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. And you can see my yarn has already changed colors into the variegated yarn. There we go. All right. There's our 20 stitches. We're going to join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. And that's what row 2 is. 20 double crochets, join and chain 3. For row 3, we're going to be doing what we did on the previous row, only we're going to be going from 20 double crochets to 40. So here's our chain 3 that counts as our first double crochet. We're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. And like I said, we're going to go from 20 double crochets to 40. And this just makes a nice flat bottom for our bag. So I'm stitching 2 double crochets in each of those 20 double crochets around. Then when we get all the way back around, we'll join to the top of our chain 3 and we'll chain 3 again. I've stitched those 40 stitches around. I'm going to join to the top of that chain 3 and chain 3. Now row 4, we're going to be doing something just a little bit different. We're going to double crochet in that same stitch as our chain 3. And then we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. And then we'll stitch 2 double crochets in the next. And I call this doing 2 and 2. Because what we're going to do around is we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches and then 2 stitches in the next one. All right, so we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then we'll stitch 2 double crochets together in the next. And I know that's a little bit hard to see with that variegated yarn. 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 double crochets in the next. And we'll do this all the way around. 1, 2, and then 2 in the next. Whoops! Moving all the way around for row 4. And then when we get to the end again, we'll join to the top of the chain 3 and chain 3. So I'm stitching 1 and then 2 and then 2 together. All the way around, we'll join to the top of our chain 3 and chain 3. I've completed this row of stitching 2 individual double crochets and then 2 together. You can see my yarn has already changed colors again. And we're done doing the bottom of the bag. Now we're going to start working up the sides of our bag. And the way we'll do that is we're going to place only 1 double crochet in each stitch around. But we're going to do this working in the back loops only. And so if you look at the tops of your stitches, you'll see there's 2 loops. There's a back loop and a front loop. The front loop is the loop that's facing you, and the back loop is the loop that's facing away. And for this row only, we're going to be stitching in the back loops, and we're still stitching double crochets. So yarn over, go in that first stitch and stitch in the back loop only, and stitch your double crochet. Now this yarn switched to a little bit of a fuzzy yarn, so these stitches may be a little bit hard to see. And what you'll see happening is as we stitch this row, a line will start showing across here. And this just helps your bag sit up just a little bit better. So we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around, and we're stitching in the back loops only, and we will only be doing this for this row. Okay, so here's the outside of our bag, and you'll see as you stitch this that this line will appear and your stitches will stand up just a little bit better. So just to repeat, what we're doing on this row is 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around, stitching in the back loop only, all the way around. And then again we'll join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3, because remember, this whole bag is stitched in double crochets. I stitched 1 double crochet in each of the stitches around, and you can see there's that line there because I stitched in the back loops only. And now I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now for this row we're not going to be doing any more back loop only. It's all just going to be 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. And for the remainder of your bag, your stitch count is not going to change. We're going to be at 54 double crochets in each row from now on will be 54 double crochets. So I'm just stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. Not the back loops, I'm going right through the stitch and stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. And hopefully I'll be through this fuzzy yarn pretty soon so that you can see things just a little bit more clear. But you can tell that I'm stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. And like I said, we're not going to do any more increasing. Stitch count is going to stay the same for the remainder of the bag. So I'm just going to continue stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. Get back around, I'll join to the top of my chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. I completed row 6, which was 1 double crochet in each stitch around. I joined with a slip stitch to the chain 3 and I chained 3. Now the remainder of the bag is relatively simple. You're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, join with the slip stitch to the chain 3 and chain 3. And it's very simple double crochets, and that's why I really like making this bag, because it is simple and quick to stitch up. So again, I'm just stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, and you can see I'm back to the blue color, the sort of teal blue color that we started with in the center. And this yarn has just a gradual change from one color to the next. You'll just change and it's all hooked together, and it makes a really fun look for this bag. So I'm just going to continue around this row, stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, and again join and chain 3. I completed that 7th row, joined to the top of the chain 3 and chained 3. And now we're going to do 7 more rows doing exactly the same thing. 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, join to the top of the chain 3 and chain 3. Now, for the ones that I have made using the little toppers, I only get through row 14 and then I have to change colors. The bag has a total of 16 rows. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, join and chain 3 for as many rows as our yarn will hold out. I didn't quite make it through the 14th row, but you can see I've done 1 double crochet in each stitch around, join, chain 3, and I'm up through the 14th row. But I didn't make it to the end, so I'm going to join in my color that I've chosen to finish my project. And this is just Red Heart Super Saver in a dark teal color. And to join in a new color, we're not going to join right on that loop. We're going to go where we still have the 2 loops on that last double crochet. Let me show you like this. Here's our last double crochet. We go through the first 2 loops and we still have the 2 loops, and we'll just join in our new color right through to finish that double crochet, and then we'll snug those down and go right on stitching a double crochet right in the next stitch. Alrighty, so I've got my new color on, and I'm going to complete this row, and then I need to do 2 more rows. so that I have a total of 16 rows. And we'll just continue doing what we've been doing. 1 double crochet in each stitch around, join, chain 3, and we'll finish this row 14, and then we'll do row 15 and then row 16, and then we'll tie off. I'll show you how to do your drawstring and how to attach your little topper. I completed the 16th row. I'm going to cut my yarn, join to the top of the chain 3, and tie off. And what I do is I go to the back and I pull that to the back, and then I can weave it in back here with my needle. I'm just going to pull that down out of the way for right now. And that's our completed bag. And the next thing that we need to do is make the drawstring. To make the drawstring, we're going to hold 2 strands of our yarn together. And I am using the same worsted weight that I used to finish off the top of my bag. We're going to make that slip knot, and I'm still using the H hook. I'm just going to stitch just a little bit looser. And we're just going to chain 100 chains. And you can chain more or less depending on how long you want your drawstring. And by putting the 2 together, the 2 strands of yarn, it makes a nice sturdy drawstring that's going to hold up to wear and tear, especially by the little ones. All right, so chain your chain for 100 chains, or as long or as short as you want your drawstring. So once your drawstring is as long as you want it, go ahead and cut your yarn, but make sure you give yourself just a little bit of a tail. Then we'll tie that off, and what we're going to do is we're going to tie a knot right in the end of it, just to make sure that that's not going to come undone. And we're going to leave that on there. Then we'll go to the other end and do the same thing. Tighten that up and then make a little knot, just so our drawstring doesn't come undone. All right, so here's our drawstring. And the way we're going to put it on our bag, now you need to decide where your front is. This is my back, so I want this to be my front. And I want my drawstrings to be pulled from the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hook this way, and on this 13th row, or we did 16 rows, so on the 15th row, I'm just going to go in and out about every 4 or 5 stitches. Then I'm going to hook the chain with the hook and just pull it through. And I like to do big gapes between, especially if it's for a child. Instead of doing every single stitch, I like to do it about every 4 or 5 stitches. And I go backwards with my hook because I think it just makes it a little bit easier. All right, so now we'll pull the rest of this one through. Strings out of the way. There we go, and we'll just pull it through. There we go. Straighten that out a little bit. Pull that through. And we'll do it the rest of the way to the front. There we go, just a few stitches. It's really random. You can count and divide it up if you want to. I just do it a little bit random. There we go. All right, now another thing that I do is I put the two ends together and a couple inches up, I just tie a knot, and that's going to keep the drawstring from coming out and you having to put it right back through. All right, so here's the bag, here's the drawstring, and now we need to add our little topper. Well, the topper comes with ribbons on it. And if you don't like these, you can cut those off, which I like to cut them off because they're in the way. And then I just take the topper and I try to put it underneath where the drawstring is going to be, like this. And I'll pull the ribbons through. Now, you can also use a needle and thread to sew the topper in place if you're concerned about it not staying put. But I like to just use the ribbons because if you want to wash this, you can just untie the ribbons and take it off. All right, so then what I do on the inside is I just take those two ribbons and I just tie a bow. That way I can take off the topper and wash the bag. All right, let's push him up there. And now we can just take the drawstring from the back. There we go. And there's our little hootie owl drawstring bag. Isn't that fun? It's the perfect size for the little guys and girls, or for you. I'm going to be using my bag for a small project bag to take along with me.